Hi friends, my name is Mackenzie, also known as Emtothethird, and this is the Emtothethird Knitting Podcast. We're on something like episode 46. I forgot to check before recording, but I have got so much to talk with you about. First of all, thank you all so much for your responses to Sibling Energy. If you have not seen yet, me and my friend Tim have started a podcast together. So we're calling it a mostly knitting podcast because we do talk about knitting. A lot of our conversation topic is knitting, but I think it's more robust. And it's been so fun to record a podcast with someone else. And like, really when we were talking about it and kind of like thinking about it, we were like, we want this to be like entertainment, not educational. And, have like comedy in it, and I really feel like we've hit on something, and it's been super fun. So we've got 3 episodes out. If you have not checked them out yet, please do. They will be up here. I will link the playlist with all of them. And we are hosting a knit along. So we are hosting a knit along for the sheep camp sweater throughout the entirety of the summer. So if you haven't heard about it until now, don't be scared to just jump in and join us. I'll share my progress and yarn on that later. But yeah, there's a lot going on. But I was also feeling like I really needed to sit down, not needed to, I never need to, but I really wanted to sit down and talk about the projects I'm working on. I've got a lot of FOs. And just, yeah, like connect with you about all my projects. So here we are. Hello. Thanks so much for being here. I naturally dye yarns. Those are available on my website, emtothethirdyarn.com, along with a lot of t-shirts and stickers that I do graphic design and illustration for. And I will be in person at a few events in the Pacific Northwest this coming knitting season and summer. So at the end of June, just in a couple weeks, I will be at the Black Sheep Gathering in Albany, Oregon. At the beginning of August, I will be at Flock, which is a new fiber festival in Seattle. And then in November, I will be at Sacred Sheep, which is also a new fiber festival in November. So if you are in the Pacific Northwest, please stop by, say hello, peruse, and I'll see you there. So that's kind of the top of the dome stuff to talk about. I have got so much to show you. And the first one is actually not knitting, it is sewing. So I made this top recently and then was like, oh yeah, I need to make like 8 more of these. So this pattern is the Ashton top by Helen's Closet. There is a cropped length, a full length, and it is just this. There's also a lining, a face, like a lining option, or just a bias tape option. I made this top when the pattern first came out, when I was living in Boston, and I made, I don't know, something like 3 or 4 of them, and I wore them all summer. They're perfect to layer with knitwear. They're just like the nice, easy top to put on over dresses with a skirt, which is how I'm wearing it now. And I love the option between the cropped and like the full length. And then she's also released a sleeve like add-on, so there's a few different sleeves that you can add to it, and it's really like my favorite top to wear in the summer. And so I made this one out of this fabric that I got from someone's D-stash, and the only one that I have left in my wardrobe is very small on me, and it was a very not stretchy linen fabric. I bet that I did not wash it before making the top. And so I sort of just based off of that, not measuring anything, thought that maybe the pattern, like the largest size of the pattern, was too small for me. So I didn't check anything, and I was like, let me just add like a little bit to the front seam. Like I think I added an inch at the front and back, and then maybe like another inch of the sides, and it's too big. I mean, I actually don't think it looks too big, but it is bigger than I want it to be. So I will not be making those adjustments in the next ones. But for real, yeah, it just ends right there. And I've just been wearing it pretty much nonstop. And then I was like, yeah, I need to make more of these. And I went to the fabric store and I bought some fabrics, which I did just wash. They're very my palette. It's a mixture of shirtings and quilting cotton. Like I think this one might be a quilting cotton, but it might be a lawn. But yeah, so those are all washed and ready to turn into more Ashton tops so that I can be comfortable and cute all summer. So yeah, that's kind of, I haven't been doing a lot of sewing. I really haven't in the last like year. So it felt really nice to pull down my sewing machine and just like cut something out and put it together in a couple hours. So I'll be like batch sewing those. Yeah, and then just adding them to my wardrobe. So kind of nice. Start with a little sewing. And then my grandma and I collaborated on a project. So Yaya was visiting, and before she visited, she posted an image on her Instagram, I will put it here, of a granny square like fanny pack. And I was like, hi, yes, can I put it in my order? And she said, what are you gonna trade me for it? And I was like, you're my grandma. So I gave her some grief, and she was like, sorry, I asked for you to make me something. I was like, no, what do you want? So I am gonna make her a muscle burra. That's on the horizon. But we talked about it, and I decided to make the granny squares and give her the lining fabric. And she turned it into this amazing crossbody bag, like wedge shape. So yeah, I decided, I was like really debating about what yarn to use. And then I went to, there's this place in the Pacific Northwest called the Craft Warehouse. It's like a local Michael's basically. And I was like, went there with Yaya and Mom just to kind of peruse, and I saw this like Premier cotton yarn. I don't even know what the brand is. Let me see. Oh, it's literally Premier yarn. So this is the yarn that I found, and it's 85% recycled cotton and 15% polyester. And I liked the colors of it. I particularly like this color, which is their orange. It is orange, but it's the color that I've been super into. And so I got some colors, and I was like playing with like some pinks and greens, and I was just like, I think I just want white with a little pop in the center. So I made 4 of the squares, I put them together, and then I sent it to her also with this lining fabric, which is jackalopes. I love jackalopes. And so she sewed it all together for me. She added a little zippy and some pockets on the side and the hardware. And yeah, I've been using it as just my purse, and I really love it. I get a lot of compliments on it. We use this like cotton webbing, which matches the yarn really well. Yeah, and I really love it. So most of the time I just wear it kind of like down here, but I can also kind of like pull it to the front. But yeah, and then this is my little guy. He's a cute little guy, right? So there we go. That's another FO that was a fun collaboration, and it's like really the perfect summer purse. Fits my big wallet in it, all my little like mints and chapstick and a hanky and my phone and keys. So yeah, that was a really, really good one. And we did not really follow a pattern. We just like looked at tutorials on Pinterest and stuff. So Apologies about that, but anyway, I'm very, very happy with my little bag. And then the other FO that I have is a sweater. If you follow me on Instagram, you're probably seen posts about it ad nauseum. But I do want to mention it on the podcast, talk about it a little bit, and that is my sweater. See, this color is having a moment, I think in general, but definitely in my life. I will post my little TikTok wearing it so you can see, but I am so happy with how this sweater turned out. I don't know why it just got like stuck in my head and I couldn't rest until it was done, and it really did turn out perfect. So I used heavy merino from Knitting for Olive in the color Blood Orange, and then I used the mohair silk from Ritual Dyes in the color Jewel Weed. And this is the important part about this. It is an oversized sweater, and I like the look of oversized sweaters, but as I looked through the project pages and saw other big ladies like myself wearing it, there were some things that I wanted to be mindful of. Because the sweater requires so much ease, I think that it can lean from oversized to too big. So what is important to me when I'm making something oversized is that this part fits, because I want the yoke to fit, because if it's too loose up here, then it just looks frumpy to me. And one of the things about this pattern is that it has a folded over neckline that you start the sweater with. And I noticed in a lot of the photos that that added like a lot of bulk, because we're using like a worsted weight yarn. And so it sort of ended up like cinching a little funny, and it felt just like too much fabric up here. So what I did was I went ahead and cast on the amount that it said, and I went right into the raglan increases, and then later picked up and added the ribbing. And I feel like that was essential for me in the way that this garment fits and looks. I also made sure to measure and use the size that was closest to my upper bust measurement as opposed to my full bust measurement. Because again, I wanted to be very conscientious about this part not being too big. So I do feel like the sweater fits me here, and then the sleeves are oversized, the bottom, you know, it's a split side, so it like sits really nicely so that my hips kind of pop out, and I'm so happy with the way that it fits. I've been wearing it over dresses, with pants, and now it's starting to get a little too hot to wear it. But I feel like I'm going to be wearing this all fall and next winter. It feels like it's the cozy sweatshirt that I just throw on when I need another layer. So yeah, if you have any questions about this one, definitely leave them in the comments down below and I'd be happy to answer them. But yeah, I'm so happy with how it turned out. I get a lot of compliments on it, and I also have red mohair everywhere. Like from wearing it, from knitting it, like I find red mohair in my nose, in the car, on Maple, in the butter, like, so that is, you know, that is to be expected with mohair, but it really truly is all over the place. All right, so that, okay, one more FO. And then we're done. And this FO is a spinning project. I think, full disclosure, I recorded this episode once already, and I just was editing it, and I could tell that I wasn't in the mood to record. Like I was sort of forcing myself, and you could like, I could tell. I don't know if you'd be able to tell, but I just was like, no, it's not good enough, and I scrapped it. So some of the things I can't remember if I talked about during that recording that I just scrapped, or if it was actually in the last podcast episode. Hazards of the trade. So I can't remember if I was talking about these singles, but Tim and I made some bats like, God, over a year ago. And I used one of those bats with a bat that I bought off Etsy from Yanni Makes. And that was like a white merino with these beautiful neon silk threads in it. And then the other one was this like mauvey purple bat that Tim and I had made. So I just spun singles of both of those, plied them together, and I'm like so happy with how this skein turned out. It's a very lightweight. I did my best to implement long draw that I took a class for in October, and for real, it's just like very light and fluffy and nice. So I don't know what I'm gonna do with this. That's not the point of spinning, right? Like, we're not spinning to knit all the time. But it's pretty thin. It's probably like a sport, maybe veering into fingering. But I will cherish it, and yeah, it'll be something special one day. Okay, let's talk about whips. So, God, I have a lot of knitting happening right now. So the first thing that I want to talk about is the one that I'm most determined to finish and is the closest to being finished. And that is the Sunshine Tee by Andrea Gone. So when Andrea posted photos of this tee, it has this, hers is like really pretty yellow, and it had this like folded neckline and folded cuffs, and I was just like, oh, I really like that, and I could like envision it in outfits, and I was like, ooh, it's getting into the summer. And so I was at work and I did a little circuit around the store, and it's in fingering weight, so I was like, what do I want to make it in, and I want to be incorporating some more greens into my knitting, because I've been doing a lot of reds, pinks, mauves, and my closet, like all of my clothes on like hanging in my closet, just, it's kind of like pink right now. So I'm trying to incorporate some more greens, yellows, whatnot. So this color was really what I wanted to do, like some kind of like chartreusey, slimy color. And I spotted this Spin Cycle. It's one of their newer colorways. It's in Dyed in the Wool, but it's like a tonal line. And so they're named after different cities. There's like Calcutta and whatnot. This one is called Scranton. I hope that Haley Lock Knits, if you're watching, you can laugh at this being called Scranton. Like, what? But anyway, and yes, the Scranton that The Office is, filmed at. I digress. So I just I got it in my head. I was like, we have other yarns that are kind of this color, but the hand spun feel of Spin Cycle got wedged in there, and I couldn't let it go. And I was like, this is so dumb to buy, 5 skeins of Spin Cycle for this top, but I couldn't not do it. It was just like stuck in there. And then I had this idea to add this Intarsia circle. So this yarn in the center is my sock base that I currently do not have in stock, but this was like some leftovers of it. And so I charted out a circle, I started knitting, and yeah, I'm in love. I can't wait to wear this. So because of the way the Spin Cycle has variation, like the back has this beautiful stripe on it. The only place where I'm unhappy is the sleeve. It's just very stark, but honestly, it's not that big of a deal. So I'm just finishing up the body. I will block it, I will wet block it, but that's all I have left to do. And yeah, I'm very excited to wear it. So aside from my Intarsia circle. I really haven't made any modifications. There are options for short row bust shaping, but I just don't have a lot of bust, so I usually do not do bust shaping. Sometimes I'll do like tummy shaping, but not bust shaping. So this is so close to being done. I'm very excited about it. I'm trying to just like enjoy the stockinette. I sat downstairs earlier and like played through a couple cassettes and just knit and thought, meditated. And yeah. Was there something else I was going to talk about? Oh, for the intarsia. So I started the intarsia up here when you're just working on the front. And when I got to the point where you're supposed to join the back, I continued the intarsia flat and just went back and forth across the entire back to the side, this side. Knit this part with one yarn, this part with the white yarn, and then all the way around with the third yarn. So it was knit flat and then joined in the round. So I do have a seam here at the side, but that was just to make the intarsia part easier. And yeah, I thought that worked out pretty well. Someone called me out on the Sibling Energy podcast saying that that was oldest behavior. And I don't disagree, but it looks freaking sick, right? And then I've been holding it in my little project bag from Hohi. I don't remember what this style is called. I have 2 of these and I love them. And then I've got my little angry frog peach buddy on here. Does he have a name? I don't think so. And what I love about him is that when I set my bag on the table, he kind of just like sits and grumps at everybody. So, matching project, matching bag. Everyone at Knit Night keeps teasing me about it. And I'm like, I know. Did it on purpose. I know. Okay. Let's see. Other sweater whips. So, I haven't even cast this on. I've just done the gauge swatch. I'm waiting to finish the Sunshine Tee before beginning this one. But it's another fingering weight tank top. Going very out of my comfort zone and knitting it in blue. This pretty blue. It's Mondim. And I talked about this on Sibling Energy, so if you've already watched that, just don't mind me for a moment. I am knitting this, I'm test knitting the High Time Tank by Golden Boy Knits. This is what it looks like. I just immediately was in love. And at first I was like, why do I want to knit in blue? I got this beautiful Mondim. Blue is really not my color. I know so many people love blue. It becomes kind of a neutral, but I'm like very much a warm color fall girly. I know I'm kind of wearing a blue, but when I go towards blues, they're usually on the purple side or on the green side. But this is pretty blue for me. And then I got this like sparkly, oh my god, it's like polyester, hi Maple. This sparkly polyester yarn that I'm gonna do all the fringe in. So it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a romp. Of course I will update you on that when I begin it. Which should be soon, because I'm gonna finish the top as soon as possible. And this is in my other Hohi bag. This one has a rodeo girl pin. Do you see that? I love her. So I felt like it was very apropos to have my like cowboy inspired pattern in that project bag. But I was right on gauge with my yarn and I'll get started on that soon. And then last but certainly not least, oh no, it's not my last. Shit. There's so many sweaters on the needles. Okay. So Tim and I cast on for this sheep, for the sheep camp knit along. We did a live stream, and this is how far I've gotten. Not very far because, as I mentioned, I'm trying to finish the sunshine tee. But I really love the yarn that I chose. It is made by Haley Bailey, who is a local to me dyer. She's such a doll, in this colorway called Eucalyptus. I love this color. And then my contrast is this Acadia from the Fiber Company. So why would you want to join the knit along? Well, let me tell you. We have got prizes from Starlight Knitting Society, which is the local yarn store that Tim and I work at. There is a $100 gift card for anyone entering, and then there's an additional category if you knit with yarn that you bought from Starlight Knitting Society. Then we have some prizes from Woolfolk, and we have some prizes from Emtothethird. So there's lots of fun, lots of community. Tim and I are going to be doing some more live streams. If you're in the Portland area, we are having like designated meetups at Starlight Knitting Society during our Wednesday knit night. So it's just been really fun, like all the little tags and stuff that are happening online. Yeah, we're just having like, it's just been a blast. So we're right at the beginning of the knit along. It started June 1st and it's going through Labor Day, so that's September 2nd. So you have a lot of time to participate, and you'll have a sweater fresh off the needles for the fall. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, all the info will be down below. Take a look, go stash diving. It is in a DK weight yarn, and come join us, knit with us. I also have Kay's sweater on the needles. I haven't made any progress on that, much to Kay's dismay. But again, this is also an Andrea Gahn pattern. It's called the Muscadine, and it has this like really cool cabling down the sleeve. And yeah, it's just a really lovely little pattern, basic, kind of a basic with a fun little twist for Kay. So I will knit it, okay, everybody? It will get done, just not like right now. Okay, let me do accessories, what I have on the needles, and then I will switch into a very bizarre section for me, which is the blanket section. So hold tight. So I started this. Oh, it's so pretty. I'm not a cable girly, okay? I really like to make things that are wearable, and a lot of the time that kind of just means a lot of stockinette. Like, I think about my wardrobe a lot when I'm making things, but I saw this and I was just like, I just want to knit that. This was very much a process moment for me. And this is the Turtle Dove Shawl by Sari Nordlund. And I am using 2 strands held together of my Wondrous sock. And this is what we're looking like. I love these little like blips of pink. This is a one-of-a-kind colorway called Lavender Wreath. And it will be like a booth sample. I'm sure I will also wear it, but I was like, I thought it would be a good thing to have for when I'm doing all these shows. And I want to give away a skein of Lavender Wreath. So that's what we're gonna do in this video. If you would like to be entered into the drawing for this skein of Lavender Wreath to make your own turtle dove shawl, or to do whatever you want with, leave a comment down below, tell me what you're working on, and I will do a random comment selection for the next podcast episode, and reveal the winner then. So yeah, if you'd like your own little skein of Lavender Wreath in Wondrous sock, yeah, just leave a little comment down below. All right. Okay. Then I also, I also cast on a pair of socks because I was at the time needing something portable, and I'm almost done with the first one. I love this colorway. Isn't it so good? It is Lang Super Socks in their cities line. So they have a bunch of lines, or a bunch of cities that they've named colorways after, and this one is Rome. I actually saw someone, it was about a year ago, knitting in this specific colorway at knit night, and I was like, what is that color? And she showed me the label, and I like took a picture of it, and like I think I was even sitting on the couch, found it, and ordered myself a skein. And one other person who was sitting with me, we were both like, we need that colorway. So I'm almost done with the first one. This is she's just hanging out. She's hanging out, waiting to be complete. And yeah, so I am knitting socks. I have a lot of single pairs of socks at the moment. I've got this one. I've got my hand spun socks where I knit one and then left it. It's languishing. And then I also have like a knee-high Halloween sock, which is kind of goofy. And I just like kind of don't want to knit a knee-high sock. So I don't know what's going to happen. It was an experiment. I did the experiment. I think I might retract my involvement. But anyway, I am still knitting socks, just slowly, and garments are kind of taking priority at the moment. Okay, so now let's talk about blankets. The next blanket that I started, I haven't even made one square of, so who knows? Who really knows what's happening? But it is a very cool sawtooth star garter moment. I haven't even finished the square. I thought I'd finish the square, but I haven't. So I picked out these colors from my mini stash and just started putting them together with this Mondim. I do not like Mondim for socks, but I do really like it for like everything else. So yeah, I just started. So this is a pattern by my friend Sarah, who is Prairie Fiber Witch. She also has a podcast on here, and we've been internet friends for like years now. And so I tested it for her about a year ago, but she still hasn't put the pattern out. So if you really like this and want to make it, let's comment and tag Sarah and be like, Sarah, I want to knit this pattern. Because it's really, really cool. It's a little like, I don't know, it's perfect. It was perfect the day that I picked this up and was thinking about it. And that's no fault of Sarah's, that's a fault of mine. And then last but not least, I call this my cry for help blanket. I cast this on, I don't even know why I cast this on. I was watching a Homespun House, her podcast. Look, I'm even in the middle of a row. And she was working on a bunch of blankets. I've never made a garter blanket like this, okay? And I was just like, I want to knit that. I want one of those. I want to knit that. And I could have just figured it out myself, figured out how long I wanted it, but I went and I bought the pattern because she did figure out like exactly how much to knit to use up a 20-gram skein, like a mini, perfectly. And that was very appealing to me because I have a lot of minis. Have I been using exclusively minis? No. I've been using leftovers of Tim's sock, leftovers of other random stuff. This was a mini, this was a mini. But yeah, it's been, I don't know, I knit a lot of this in the last month and I kind of don't even know when that happened. So yeah, this is my cry for help blanket. And I'm still crying out for help, but I am enjoying knitting it. And again, third project in a row, I'm using Mondim. I bought like 5 skeins of this pinky clay color. It's called Rose. And I was gonna use it for something and it turned out it wasn't the right yarn. It was a little too dense. Like I really should have gone for a woolen spun. And so I've just kind of had this floating around using it and stuff, and I was like, you know, I have so much of that, I'm just gonna use it for the blanket. And it's gonna make a pretty decent sized blanket. So yeah, I'm just using that and holding it together with other random stuff. And I kind of like the way it tones down everything, because it's pink for sure, but it's kind of like gray. It sort of ends up looking like a neutral with a lot of the other colors. So yeah, I'll keep you updated on that. Who knows, I might put it away and not touch it for a year. But yeah, I'm just working on a lot of things. Working on the podcast with Tim has been such a joy, taking up time, but like time that I'm glad to give it. And yeah, I think that's it. How long was I talking for? I don't even know. I think I'm gonna go sit in my backyard because it is gorgeous outside. And I'm gonna drink some water and listen to some music and knit on my sunshine tee in the sunshine. But I always love doing these sit down podcasts, and I especially love engaging with you after posting them. So thank you so much for being here. If you're not already, please subscribe to my channel. That helps out us little content creators a lot, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye.